So when we were in family court the other day, Todd Quick says to the judge when he's offered the right to an attorney, "Why do I need an attorney?" Is he fucking serious? Is he for real? He thinks that he is sitting on the side of social services and that they are all just going to attack me and rip me to shreds because he's right about everything. He doesn't have to take care of his kids. No, Todd, you are going to be afforded the right to a lawyer that you will pay for yourself. If you get a court-appointed attorney, Todd, you're a fucking liar. You make almost $100 an hour. You get meal pay. You get travel pay. You have a lot of fucking money. You were sitting in your brand new vehicle during court. And then halfway through, you had to shut your camera off because everyone knows what you're doing. Drinking. You start drinking first thing in the morning. You're one of those guys. You drink all day long. Supposedly, you're an electrician. I don't know how that works. That's perplexing. So, again, he thinks that he doesn't have to have a lawyer because he bears no responsibility in any of this. He's so detached from this whole situation. He doesn't even think that he's the kid's dad. I mean, not literally. He demanded paternity tests. He knows goddamn well they're his. He knew it then they were. They all look just fucking like him. But just to get out of paying child support with a hope and a prayer, he tried to waste the taxpayers' money with genetic testing. And he had to pay that back. And I think it's great because he had to pay it back on identical twins. Oh, yeah. He didn't get to only pay for one paternity test. He had to pay for two. For genetically identical people. Oh, man. I loved that shit. That was funny. I told him several times, why are you even doing this? You know they're your kids. You're just going to have to end up paying for those paternity tests. Which, whether those are paid off, I don't know or not. I don't fucking talk to him. He's been gone for 7 years. He took off, stopped the kids on the side of the road and says, "Hey, I'll see you in 3 months." Never seen him again. This is the same man who my kids would sit on the hill of our house on 72 Mead Street. We lived right next to the Stantons in Walton. So there's witnesses to all of this. So Stantons, whatever the fuck you say about us, fuck you. Anyway, he would drive his bike past the kids on that hill. He lived just, 5 houses down maybe, on the same street. And he could have rode anywhere. He didn't have to ride by our house. He'd ride by the house so he could stalk us and see what was going on. And the kids would sit on that hill, feet from him, yelling, "Dad, Dad," waving. And he'd ride right by. Not a wave, not a glance, like they didn't even exist. He actually did this. And he thinks that he bears no responsibility with these children whatsoever. What he says to everyone, including me, is that the mom is to take care of the kids. Everything in the kids' lives has to do with the moms. The dads don't have to do anything. And he thinks social services agrees with that. He thinks this is how the world thinks. And he is in for a rude motherfucking awakening. You better get that lawyer, asshole. You better. You should have spent your money helping us, but you don't want to. You're not living with us. You're a fucking alcoholic. You're an abusive alcoholic. And the kids are telling everything that they've had to live through with you. You were going to be granted supervised visitation, as you already had supervised visitation with the twins anyway. The only kid that you had visitation with was Zachary for a couple years. Then it changed to the twins' supervised visits. Now it's supervised visits for all of them, whether you like it or not. And you're not going to be allowed to drink around them. And you're not going to be allowed to bite them or lay on them or make them walk home without eating like you did Joseph. Oh, I know, Todd. And Joseph knows. I'm not even your father. You, sir, get to pay for your actions now. Yes, you do. You don't have to support your kids whatsoever. You don't have to do a goddamn thing. Nobody apparently can make you do anything. But you know what you're not going to do? You're not getting away with your bullshit anymore. So I highly suggest you get a lawyer. And it is not going to be a court-appointed attorney. You work installing solar panels. You travel. You get travel pay, which you don't go anywhere. You don't travel. You don't even have a home to travel to. You use Dave Loudon's mother's address for all of your mail. You asked me if I could have your mail sent to me because you don't trust Dave. Well, don't fucking trust me. I don't want your fucking mail and your bullshit. No. I'm not your secretary. I'm not your wife. I'm not your girlfriend. No. I'm not taking care of your mail in exchange for you taking care of your kids. No. It's not the way it works. We aren't together. I don't have to do a goddamn thing for you. You, sir, still are required to take care of your children. Now, is that a requirement anybody can enforce? Nope. Because around here, if people don't pay their child support and don't take care of their kids, they don't go to jail or anything. Nothing happens to them. They don't lose their licenses. Men in this area think the same way as Todd. They can just start a family. If they don't like it, they just get to say, fuck it, I'm done. Move on and start another one. And they get to use social services to keep calling and turning in the mother. Family court, their opinion is a bad father's better than no father. But it's not the opinion of family court that a bad mother is better than no mother. Even a good mother is better than no mother, as long as it doesn't interfere with the feelings of the father. We need to be concerned with his feelings of detachment from his children. Whether he's been abusive or not, that doesn't matter. His kids still need to love and respect him. But family court will be goddamned if they uphold anything to do with a woman's rights. Case in point, 20-some years ago with John Banks Jr., the pedophile that got away with everything. So here we are, 2024, and nothing has changed. And in fact, since COVID, since everybody's lost their jobs, since nobody gives a fuck even more than they ever did before, now it's even worse. But do you know what I also think is going to be worse? I don't think Todd's getting away with this shit anymore. He has started 3 families that he has not taken care of any of them. He was married. Well, he still is married to some chick named Denise. They had a kid, Brock. Brock he's got to be 30 by now. He is a horrible alcoholic. To my knowledge, the last time Brock and Todd seen each other is when Dave and Todd were living with Maggie, the one who now has custody of Dave's kid. She's not even the mom. And she was awarded custody of his kid. How bad is that situation? How bad? So Dave Loudon finally got arrested for all his drunken bullshit that he keeps doing to Maggie and his daughter. Finally, the Sydney police have arrested a drunken, abusive alcoholic. Finally. Win for me. Do I think that this is going to continue? No, I don't. I think they're just pretending to make an example out of him. And all the drunken monkeys there in Delaware County are just going to be free to do as they please. It's a mentality. It's a way of thinking. It's a belief that men are superior to women. And it runs all through everyone all over this area. Todd, you are going to have to take responsibility for your children. You have to pay for them. Even if they go into foster care. Do you not understand this? What do you think you're going to do in court? Just sign off rights and walk away? Why didn't you just do that a long time ago when I told you to? Why'd you hang around and force visitation and shit? And so you could bite Gregory, lay on the kids, call them names, give our children horrible, dirty, rotten names all through the town they're from. Then you pack up and move. So there's some guy in Walton that I have to someday apologize to because he would drive by the house on his bicycle. He looked very similar to Todd, but I definitely could tell the difference. It wasn't him, but the kids wouldn't. The kids couldn't tell the difference. Some tall, skinny, goofy-looking fuck on a bicycle with a helmet and bicycle attire drives by, and it was either Todd or this unsuspecting gentleman that got screamed at all the way down the street. Hi, Dad. 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 Hi, Dad. We love you. Dad. Sorry, guy. Todd, you're not getting away with what you've done to these kids. You're not. They're talking. They're telling. What do you call them for this? Rats? What would you threaten them with? Snitches get stitches? You disgusting piece of shit. Who the fuck says that to their kid? I love the message that you sent to Zachary. Calling him stupid, telling him to get a job. I have been investigated, and social services has been a part of my life for well over a year. If I have been doing anything to be abusive, truly neglectful, if they're not being fed or I'm hitting them or I'm not taking care of them, they would have been taken a long fucking time ago, you fucking retards. All I need to do is find an apartment and finish the school paper, or well, have Joseph take a test right now. That's it. That's all I need to do. That's it. I'm not in trouble for anything other than being poor, which Todd knew when I met him I needed back surgery. I'd stay up all night in the living room and he'd get pissed because I wouldn't come in and lay down with him and sleep. Well, my back hurt. I fucking told you that. You made a joke of the whole thing then. You didn't believe me. Until we'd get talking about, I think someday I'm going to have back surgery, and I'm going to have to go after Delaware County because they're supposed to be paying for this. Then he was interested. But anything to do with the kids, anything to do with me, other than money, he didn't care. So he'd ride his Lance Armstrong bike. He bought a bike for thousands of dollars just to ride around Walton. I was letting him, I don't even know how many years, I signed the paperwork so he could get the taxes for those kids. I didn't even realize how much money he was getting. He was getting like $10,000, $12,000 a year in taxes. And then giving me $1,000 just to shut me up. So essentially, with all that money that he was getting back every year, he wasn't even paying child support. No, you weren't. You were getting it returned. You've done nothing for these kids but be abusive and neglect them, Todd. You have neglected your children. All 5 of them. Tyler, the girl you knocked up before you were even with Denise, and it was supposed to be kept a secret. Yeah, Denise. Did you know about that one? Tyler, some other chick that worked over there with all of you at Meade. So Tyler's his oldest with some rando at Meade. Then Denise, which he married, and she needs to start talking, or Brock needs to start talking about the bullshit that they've lived through with him. The lucky one in this whole thing is Tyler. Because no, family court, a bad dad is not better than a good dad. A bad dad teaches kids to be bad people. Isn't that amazing? You better get a lawyer, Todd, and you better get a good one. Because these kids are talking. And you can try to say all you want, I've brainwashed them, planted shit in their heads, blah, blah, fucking blah. They have told this same story to anyone who would listen their entire lives. And this includes their older siblings. But right now, I'm fighting against their father because that pedophile and his psychotic ex-wife, who most recently is calling me a queerdo and wants to come beat me up like an adult, have custody of my grandchildren. He is not getting away with doing to a whole nother generation of kids. And neither is Jennifer. It's not happening. But because my older kids had to go through the system and we had to trust the process, the children that he sexually abused, that they still won't face that it happened, even though there's video of it, J.R. Blow and other people from the sheriff's department that is located right in social services took videos of the kids. Now, I'm perplexed why charges weren't pressed then, but they told me, oh no, we'll hang on these videos, and when the kids get old enough, then they can come back and do something about it. No, that ain't the way it works either now, is it? Aren't there statutes of limitations and stuff on all this shit? No, they lied to me about that too. So why John Banks has so much pull in this area, besides the fact that he works for American Fireworks, the biggest explosives and drug supplier in the area, illegally, and nobody will listen to me about that either. I have reported this for years. So must be this is the way everyone wants it. Everyone's worried about guns, but nobody's worried about people having explosives, dynamite, TNT. Nobody cares about that. That's not even spoken about. We're just going to let that one go right under the radar. Like New York State never even knew anything about it. Well, they do. But you got a guy that got busted who's supposed to be running this medical marijuana program as a drug dealer, as described on the news. What the fuck are you doing, New York State? Why won't anyone listen to me? Todd, get a lawyer. Get an expensive one, because he better be good. Because you're fucked. The kids aren't scared of you anymore. They're going to tell in court what you've done. Stitches are not coming to my children. No, snitches don't get stitches. Snitches get helped by the law. Whether the law likes it or not, my children have value. More value than the alcoholic piece of shit, as far as I'm concerned. But you're free to have whatever opinion you want. But it doesn't belong in family court. Family court is supposed to be for the protection of the children, not the fathers, the children. Todd, I don't quite think family court is going to go the way that you've planned. Get a lawyer.